It started with one chair, a folded blanket, set there just for a moment, then a shopping bag, then yesterday's mail. Before I noticed, the cozy little reading nook I used to love, my spot by the window with morning light, had quietly disappeared beneath a pile of later. That's how it happens, isn't it? Not all at once, but slowly. A drawer that won't close. A closet you avoid opening. The quiet corners of our homes begin to fill, not just with things, but with the weight of things undone. This isn't just about mess. It's about space. Not just the kind you walk through, but the kind your mind lives in. Because when clutter creeps in, it doesn't just crowd your room. It crowds your thoughts, your energy, your ability to rest. In Japan, researchers call this spatial burden, the invisible pressure of disorder. But the good news? Studies show that even light, consistent decluttering can ease that weight, especially as we age. So let's name the quiet culprits. 10 everyday things that might be stealing your space, and how letting go, little by little, might help you breathe easier again. Trap 1. The guest room you rarely use. You say you need more space, but you're already standing in it. Walk through your home and count the rooms you use every single day. The kitchen, your bedroom, maybe the living room or a home office. But what about the guest room? So often, that room sits in quiet limbo, not quite part of daily life, not quite empty either. It's waiting for company, for holidays, for someone who might stop by a few times a year. In many Japanese households, especially among older adults, underused rooms are repurposed. A space once meant for guests becomes a reading retreat, a small yoga corner, or a craft studio. In homes where every square foot matters, nothing is left idle. Meanwhile, in many American homes, guest rooms remain frozen. A full-sized bed, a dresser, perhaps a chair no one sits in. It is a whole room dedicated to someone else's occasional comfort, while the homeowner walks past it daily, wishing for space to create, exercise, or breathe. This isn't about being unkind to guests. It's about being kind to yourself. If you host overnight visitors regularly, of course the space has a purpose. But if your guest room sees more dust than conversation, it may be time to rethink what that room could become for you. There are thoughtful alternatives. Wall beds that fold away. Comfortable air mattresses with supportive toppers. A beautiful pull-out sofa that transforms with ease. These options make room for others when needed, without sacrificing the everyday needs of your own life. You deserve to have a room that brings you joy daily, not one reserved for someday. Space is not just about walls. It is about possibility, and you may already be living in the room you've been wishing for. Trap 2. Formal furniture you never touch. If it's too precious to use, is it really serving you? There's a certain kind of furniture that holds more than plates and glasses. It holds expectations. You bought the full set because it felt complete. You inherited it because it was part of your family's story. And now, it sits in the corner of your dining room. A hutch, a buffet, a set of cabinets filled with fine china, etched glasses, maybe some folded napkins you've never used. The truth is, many of us grew up with the idea that some things were too nice for everyday use. That crystal was for holidays, not for dinner. That the good plates stayed in the cabinet. Over time, these pieces became more symbolic than functional. Monuments to formality, rarely touched, but always taking up space. In Japanese culture, there's a quiet principle called yo-no-bai, which suggests that true beauty is found in usefulness. A teacup is not beautiful only because it looks delicate, but because it is held every day. Furniture should invite life, not stand in the way of it. If your formal furniture feels more like a boundary than a welcome, it may be time to gently release what no longer serves you. Keep one piece if it still brings you joy. Rehome the rest. Someone else may love using what you have only stored. The goal is not to erase your history, but to reclaim your present. To open your dining area so it can breathe again. To make room for a table where coffee can be shared, projects can unfold, conversations can happen without ceremony. The most beautiful home is not the one filled with untouchable things. It is the one that holds life. Trap 3. Closets stuffed with linens. You're not preparing for a hotel chain, just your own home. Open your hallway closet. What do you see? Sheets, blankets, maybe towels folded years ago. Some still crisp, others worn and yellowed from time. Many of them haven't touched a bed in years, but they remain, just in case. In many homes, linen closets become silent storage zones. They hold not only textiles but expectations. We imagine sleepovers, future guests, or that one chilly week in January. But the truth is, we often use the same familiar sets again and again. The rest just wait in stillness. Japanese gerontologists have found that cluttered storage spaces increase decision fatigue, especially in older adults. When every shelf is packed, the brain avoids the closet altogether. This quiet avoidance becomes a burden, not just physical but mental. It doesn't have to be this way. Most families need only 1 or 2 sets of sheets per bed. Instead of dedicating an entire closet to linens, store 1 set on the bed and tuck the second under it, in a bin or pull-out drawer. The rest? Let them go. Donate them with gratitude. Someone else may need them now more than your shelf does. Letting go of excess isn't about scarcity. It's about creating room for ease. Room to open a closet and know exactly what you'll find. Room to breathe. Trap 4. Empty boxes and maybe I'll need it items. A box is not a promise. It's a delay. Somewhere in your home, perhaps the garage, basement, or a closet, you may have a pile of empty boxes. TV boxes, blender boxes, shoe boxes stacked just in case. Maybe they once held something valuable. Now, they mostly hold air and hesitation. And not just boxes. You'll also find chargers for devices you no longer own. Appliance parts you never used. Decor items waiting for a someday room. This is the maybe mindset. Maybe I'll return it. Maybe I'll move. Maybe this will come in handy. But as Japanese decluttering expert Hideko Yamashita explains in her work on Danshari, when we keep things for someday, we crowd out the clarity of today. Every object you don't use asks your brain to hold space for it. Space you could use for something meaningful right now. Letting go of packaging and what-if items is an act of release. It's not giving up. It's choosing to live here in the present. Use your space for what is, not what might be, and trust that you'll handle tomorrow when it comes. Trap 5. Oversized electronics and furniture from the past. You downsize your TV, but forgot to downsize the furniture it used to sit on. There was a time when a television was as deep as a suitcase and came with its own piece of furniture. Heavy entertainment centers, complete with shelves, glass doors, and space for VCRs and stereo systems. That time is over, but the furniture often remains. Across many American homes, these oversized units still occupy entire walls, holding dust and used remotes and memories of an era that no longer fits today's lifestyle. In Japan, homes are designed to evolve. As needs change, so does the use of space. It's common for older adults to remove bulky furniture in favor of light, functional designs that reflect their current rhythms of life. The goal isn't minimalism, it's intentionality. Your space deserves that same care. If your television now mounts on the wall, let the massive unit go. If your desktop computer is gone, why keep the desk built for it? Replace with a small, sleek media console. Try a wall-mounted shelf. Use that space for a chair, a plant, or simply nothing at all. When you release what no longer fits, the room exhales, and so do you. Trap 6. Band-Aid storage fixes. Buying more bins won't fix too much stuff. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by clutter and reach for a quick solution. Another drawer unit, a rolling cart, more plastic bins. But soon, these Band-Aid fixes become a problem. Instead of creating order, they scatter it. In Japan, traditional interiors favor clean lines, vertical shelving, and built-in storage. A study by Japan's Housing Research Institute found that older adults living with floor-level clutter were more likely to experience mobility issues and tripping hazards. The body struggles when the path is unclear. If your home is lined with mismatched bins or short-term storage, it may be time to shift perspective. More storage isn't always the answer. Better storage is. Instead of adding another small organizer, consider removing what it was meant to hold. Then invest in one intentional piece. A floor-to-ceiling shelf, a wall unit with closed doors, or a cabinet that holds what matters and hides what doesn't. Choose solutions that give the room structure, not scatter. Less patching, more peace. Trap 7. Duplicate appliances. How many ways can you cook rice? It starts with good intentions. A rice cooker, then an Instant Pot with a rice setting, a slow cooker, a bread maker, a blender just for smoothies. Before long, the kitchen feels like a showroom for gadgets you rarely use, and cooking becomes something you work around, not something you enjoy. In Japanese design, there's a principle called shibui, the beauty of simplicity and quiet refinement. It's not just about looks. It's about ease. Fewer distractions, fewer decisions, more peace. Ask yourself, which tools do I reach for weekly? Which ones overlap in function? Do I really need 3 versions of the same solution? Choose the items that serve you well and serve more than one purpose. Let the rest go with gratitude. Someone else might love the gadget you've forgotten in the cabinet. Your kitchen isn't a storage unit. It's a place of nourishment. When your counters are clear and your drawers glide open, you don't just cook, you breathe easier. Trap 8. Visual clutter. Even when it's clean, your walls may be loud. Clutter isn't always in piles. Sometimes it's on the walls. A gallery of mismatched frames, crowded bookshelves, bright prints, busy patterns. Your eyes are constantly processing, even when your hands are still. Researchers at Osaka University have found that visual overstimulation in the home raises cortisol, the stress hormone. In older adults, it can lead to faster mental fatigue and reduced focus. But here's the quiet magic. Removing just one visual element in a room, one photo, one shelf, one overly decorative piece, can soften the entire space. Try this. Step into each room. What's the first thing your eyes land on? Is it calming or noisy? Remove one item and live with that new emptiness for a few days. Blank space isn't empty. It's restful, a pause for the eyes and the mind. Trap 9. Sentimental overflow. Nostalgia is a beautiful thing until it fills a room. That photo album from the 80s. The teacup from your aunt's wedding. A drawer full of greeting cards. Memory-rich items are precious, but too many can become a weight, not a comfort. In Japan, older generations embrace a gentle ritual called osuji, a spiritual deep cleaning at the year's end. It's not just scrubbing floors. It's a reflection, a chance to thank belongings, then release what no longer serves, making space for a fresh start. Try this approach. Choose one memory-rich category: letters, mementos, heirlooms. Keep one item that most strongly connects you to that feeling or person. Take a photo of others or write their story in a journal. Let go with gratitude. You're not discarding love. You're letting the memory breathe outside the clutter. Trap 10. Unused organizing products. The solution became the problem. We've all done it. Bought beautiful baskets or clever drawer systems with the hope of taming clutter, only to stack those same bins in the garage or fill them with random odds and ends. Researchers call this organizing overflow, when tools meant to control clutter end up amplifying it. In older adults, this leads to hidden messes, more stress, and wasted money. A better approach? Declutter first. Organize second. Buy last. Let storage products serve a real need, not just the hope of one. And if you're holding on to unused organizers for someday, ask yourself, has that day come? If not, maybe it's time to clear that shelf in your mind. The goal isn't an empty home. It's a home with room to live. Letting go doesn't mean letting go of identity or memory or value. It means freeing up space to move with ease, to rest without guilt, to breathe. The Japanese concept of ma teaches us this, the meaningful pause, the space between things. Not lack, not emptiness, but the fertile ground where peace can grow. You don't need to tackle everything at once. Choose one trap this week, one room, one drawer. That's where clarity begins, not in the noise, but in the quiet you make space for.